Christmas, Mama loves you. I'm going to read you a book. Curious George Goes to School.
We are headed now to Cisco, and I think there's one child with the grandmother who are about to receive books and tapes from their mom. Hi, I'm Judith. How are you?
Good.
Tracy?
Hi.
I'm Judith Dolna. Good to meet you.
You too.
And we have a package for Loab.
Hi, baby. Merry Christmas. Mama loves you. I'm going to read you a book. Curious George Goes to School.
It was open house at George's school, so the man with the yellow hat had come to school with George.
I want to speak to your teacher, the man.
In the beginning, it was okay for me because I was glad that she was safe. But it's getting a little more hard for me now, just a little bit. I still know that that's where she belongs for now.
I never thought I'd be back here, and then it was a shock. It took me a long time to accept the fact that I went back to jail and I was coming to prison. It's a variety of people. You know, you got me ranging from having a 3-year sentence to people that have no possibility, no chance of getting out.
Women's Storybook Project is a nonprofit, all-volunteer program that connects children with their incarcerated mothers. Volunteers travel to the prison, and a mother chooses a book to read to her child. While she reads, we record it. We send that book and the tape to the child so they get to hear their mother read a story while she's away.
Some of them have come here and it has been life's aha moment of, wow, this is what Mama was talking about. I didn't know a whole lot about Storybook until I got to be the senior warden at the Lane Murray unit. And one of my first duty weekends was a weekend that they had Storybook. So I said, well, I'm gonna go down there and see what Storybook's all about.
Well, I found my first book.
We're not there to judge, so it's better really not to know what the mother's offense was. The focus is the child.
I'm Amanda. I'll be reading to my daughter. She's 7, Kelsey, and then my son, Junior, he's 4, about to be 5. I read last month, and they really enjoyed it, and it was the first time my daughter got to hear my voice in a long time. It was real great.
Hi, I'm Selsa, and I'll be reading to my 2 girls and my little boy. They loved the books last time. I've never had a chance to read to them, and they really, really enjoyed it.
My name is Leslie, and I have a daughter. She's 5, and she loved her book. She came to visit, and she said she loved it.
Good night, moon. You see the moon, baby, and the stars? When you look at them stars and that moon, just know that I'm looking at them too, and I love you.
There's nothing that feels better than to hear your mother's voice or to have that book and know that your mom is reading that book to you. There's absolutely no better feeling. And so I think that's probably the one thing about Storybook that I really kind of just struck a chord with me.
This is something that I know that she can carry with her. And plus, I read this when I was little. And I was like, okay, that's a cool story. Because it lets you know that just because you're different, you tend to be a little bad and mischievous, that doesn't mean that you're stuck out from the rest of the kids. So, like me.
Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. A lot of the women ask me, like, how do you smile regardless of where you are? So because at the end of the day, I know that my daughter, when I get home, will still have a connection. Well, that's the end, Precious, and I miss you, I love you, and please read the book and write me and let me know what happened. Love you, bye-bye.
So it's a pleasure to listen to you.
Thank
really
you.
Was.
Rather than mailing the recording and the book, which we normally do, today we're going to carry it personally.
Precious. Come and meet Judith.
How are you? I have something for you. Can I give it to you?
All these. And I love this one.
Hi, Precious. This is Mommy, and I'm just telling you that I want you to read this book. The Peter Rabbit is a book that I read when I was little. It's something that I would love to enjoy with you. And keep it in your purse because you'll have Mommy all the time. Hey, little man, this is your mom. I love you, baby. I want you to take care of your sisters for me because I'm your big brother, and I love you. Hi, Anastasia. Hey, Natalia. This is your mother. I'm reading your book today. And a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. It's hard because I want her to come home and be a good mom to her kids. And I know she wants to, but it's hard for her too. But I won't ever give up. Because I know one day she will be. And I'll be here. I'll be right here waiting. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, Nellie. You're so welcome. Thank you.
Hey, baby. Merry Christmas. Mama loves you. I'm going to read you a book. Curious George Goes to School. It was open house at George's school, so the man with the yellow hat had come to school with George.
It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, like blue. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly smells. I love you, Anastasia. Good night, Mom.
Was my mom
And
crying?
a brush and a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Turn to the next page, baby. Well, then turn to the next page again, baby. Good night, Mom. You see the moon, baby, and the stars? When you look at them stars and that moon, just know that I'm looking at them too, and I love you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Deborah Duncan, the host of Great Day Houston. I want to welcome each of you today and thank you for spending your time with us in support of Women's Storybook Project. Our goal is big. We hope to connect incarcerated mothers with their children, interrupt the cycle of incarceration, and improve literacy. As we toast in a minute, I hope you do so with our Tito strawberry lemonade cocktail. We emailed the recipe earlier, but if you missed it, don't worry. It's pinned to the comment section right below. Whether you're by yourself or in a small group today, please take a moment to snap a few photos and tag WSP_TX or hashtag Window of Hope. We can't wait to see your photos. Today, we'll hear from Deborah Zhang Stein, author of Prison Baby and founder of the Unprison Project, and Storybook alumna and fellow at the Texas Center for Justice and Equity, Maggie Luna. If you have any questions as we go along, please type them in the chat box on the right and we'll make sure to get you an answer. We're here to learn, but we're also here to raise money needed to keep Women's Storybook Project of Texas working and growing. So please help in any way that you can. Due to the generosity of some wonderful friends, the first $20,000 in donations will be matched dollar for dollar. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce the board president of Women's Storybook Project of Texas, Marty Lober.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marty Lober. I am the board president of the Women's Storybook Project, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us today. Today, you're going to hear about providing a window of hope for children and their incarcerated mothers who need a connection as they go through a difficult time in their life. I do want to thank a few people as we get into the program. Thank everyone who helped make this a reality. The event co-chairs, Kim Weidman and Kay Gooch, and the rest of the Luncheon Committee, as well as our volunteer board members. But I also especially want to thank you for supporting our mission. At this time, I'd like to introduce Jill Gonzalez, our executive director. She is the engine that makes our organization work. She's in it every day, making things happen to bring the joy of literature to incarcerated women and their children. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad you've joined us today. Providing a window of hope to children and their incarcerated mothers is our great joy. Our dedicated team leaders and volunteers provide the opportunity for moms to reach out to their children and do what moms have always done: encourage, comfort, and read them stories aloud. During an in-person storybook program, volunteers travel to prison each month to record mothers reading favorite children's books and sending messages of love to their children. Our 4-month program is available to residents who have applied and qualified. Each recorded story is sent to the child via URL or CD wherever they live. We've now doubled the chance for children to connect with mom through the Women's Storybook by Mail program. After 4 months of Storybook, moms can continue on for 4 more months by mail. When I recently announced this new opportunity at the Lane Murray unit, it was literally met with applause. Connecting with our children is that important. We're also beginning a pilot project within the STRIVE program at the Mountain View unit in Gatesville. STRIVE stands for Strength through Restoration, Independence, Vision, and Empowerment. Our team will provide literacy and parenting training, as well as recording and mailing opportunities to women who will be going home within 12 weeks. One final new initiative on the agenda this year is the addition of bonding activities to our in-person program. Mom will have the chance to add an activity to each and every mailing, showing her love for her children in writing. As our program grows, so do the opportunities to serve. We look forward to 2022 as a year of new beginnings and new possibilities.
Thank you so much, Jill. There are so many exciting things happening, and now it's my honor to introduce our speakers for today. First, we'll hear from Deborah Zhang Stein. Deborah is a national speaker and founder of the Unprisoned Project, a nonprofit working to empower incarcerated women and girls with life skills and mentoring to prepare for a successful life after prison. Born heroin addicted to an incarcerated mother, Deborah is the author of the memoir Prison Baby. Today, Deborah chronicles the challenges and stigmas that plagued her, all compounded by her multiracial identity. She's reframed herself into the positive force she is today: writer, entrepreneur, speaker, and mother. From rebellion to survival, Deborah conveys through her unique perspective that although progress is not always linear, it is always possible. Can we get an amen? I said, can we get an amen? Amen. Say it out louder. Amen. Okay, there we go. Next, Maggie Luda will join us to talk about her personal journey with Women's Storybook Project. Maggie is a peer policy fellow with the Hogg Foundation for Mental Health at the Texas Center for Justice and Equity. She's focused on creating advocacy opportunities for system-impacted Texans. Maggie's passion for justice policy is fueled by her own experience with system involvement and substance use, including incarceration at state and county levels in Texas. Just 1 year after her release from prison, Maggie began advocating for a host of women's dignity bills. Throughout the 2019 legislative session, she encouraged lawmakers to support reforms. Maggie coordinates the statewide leadership council, which Texas Council for Justice and Equity launched to elevate the voices of system-impacted people in local and state policy reform. Welcome, ladies, and thank you so much for making a difference.
My path has two distinct routes. I was raised in an academic family, 2 English professors, so books and learning, education were everything. And I grew up, my parents had season tickets to every musical thing and every theater thing and dance, so I was doing all those things. And at the back of that, I was also a mute child, and I would be sent to the principal's office all the time. I was pulling fire alarms, and no one, including myself, really could figure out what that was about. What I knew is that I was feeling a great loss, and I didn't know what it was. Wow. So the second part of the distinct path that has led me to sit here today is I later learned as a young teen that I had been born in a prison. My mother was an addict, and I know about that because I've been in recovery myself for over 20 years. And on one of her many sentences, she was pregnant, as women do. And at that time, and there are some prisons with nurseries now, she was allowed to keep me, and I say allowed because when you hear about the bonding, you'll know why this organization matters to me so much. I spent my first 12 months in her 4x6 cell. Now, for some people, that sounds tragic, and I'm not lightening it to say I didn't have trauma after that, but I had a year of bonding. I had a year of my birth mother reading stories to me. That, combined with where I ended up, being raised in a family of books and literature, is the reason that I'm sitting with you today. A long journey to get there, but and a dangerous one, as you probably read. Because initially I was just doing, well, I didn't start out actually working in prison. It probably wasn't until about 6 years ago that I was very public about my story. I was embarrassed about it, I was confused, and I didn't know a lot of facts, and what has turned into what I thought was a curse is really a blessing. So I was doing writing workshops and actually bringing books into prisons. And a warden said to me, well, if you would tell your story, we'd fill the gym. And because I'm more of an introvert than any, and it's amazing that I make my living speaking because I really like 2 or 3 people. So it's really, that's actually kind of, and then being mute for a lot of years. But anyway, I kept turning it down, thinking I'm a writer and I want to talk about writing with the women. In most prisons, they have groups of maybe 20 or so, but I knew I was saying no over and over because I was afraid. So I said yes, and the first prison filled the gym with 200 or 300 women, and They were weeping, I was weeping, and I had no idea why. And one of my mentors said, it's because they're feeling the hope. And I had never put that together, that I really, and I later learned, of course, many mothers have children and have lost children. And I'm a story about connection and healing and thriving, not just surviving. And so I have a lot of mentors, actually, and I was encouraged to start a nonprofit, and I really didn't want to do that. But we're unique in that the story I bring is very different and very much aligning with Strive about talking about life skills. And literally, it's the reason that I'm here and not sitting in a prison myself. So I recognized, first of all, I recognized how we align, being about books and reading, and then, of course, my personal story. But I know that books and bonding are freedom. I'm an example of that. I'm an example of what happens on the other side that can lead the wrong way, but I'm an example of what bonding and books lead to. And so I know it can happen, and I have wanted always, since we first met, to support and be an ally. And of course, I'm excited to be into the prisons here and speak, because that's really where my roots are. But as much as I can support the success of your organization, I want to keep doing that. And I know that you are healing lives and saving communities, because to me, the mothers we lose are a resource that are wasted, and the children. And why have a second generation of trauma when there are answers?
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Maggie Luna, and I am a formerly incarcerated advocate that works for Texas Center for Justice and Equity. I was able to experience the Storybook project while I was incarcerated, and it really, to this day, I still remember the way it changed my relationship with my children, and it gave me something to look forward to and some hope while I was in prison. The Storybook Project was something that was a coveted program around the prison. A lot of the women just had heard about it but hadn't experienced it. So I was very grateful whenever I was able to get into this program. We got to go down into this room, and it was a bunch of women, and we've all been separated from our children. And so it was very emotional for all of us. I would choke up because just thinking that I wasn't there for my child, but I was able to send them something to hear my voice. My kids still have the storybooks that I read them. And my daughter told me the other day that for a long time she couldn't listen to it because it would make her cry whenever she heard my voice because I wasn't there. And she just cherishes it now and remembers that time that even though I wasn't there, she was able to stay connected to me in some way. And she's 15. This was in 2017, and she still carries it. I think the Storybook Project has been really helpful to stay connected to my child and help my children to hear me. I appreciate everything that they did for me.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, Maggie. You are making a difference. To all of you who have joined us, your presence here today makes a difference. Building awareness for the toll that being justice involved takes on a family, and learning that we can help is the beginning of our story. You are important to us at the Women's Storybook Project. Volunteers, donors, sponsors, and new friends. We are glad that you decided to join us and hope that you will spread the word about this amazing program. Whether you are with a small group or joining us via Zoom, please join me in a toast with our Tito's Strawberry Lemonade cocktail or whatever beverage you have. To Women's Storybook, may this work continue to open windows of hope, inspire mothers and children and families for years to come. The future of the Women's Storybook Project and keeping the window of hope open rests with you, our donors. While we do have a portion of grant funding, the majority of program funding comes directly from supporters like you. Today, Please join me in giving to children in Texas and across the country who are growing up without their moms. Please help connect them through literature and the joy and power of stories. We can do this work with your help. Every gift is welcome, whether one-time or sustaining. For those of you that are registered today, the Reader's Circle pledge form has been sent to your table host or email address. If not, you can donate as a Reader's Circle member on our website. Just click Donate and place your level of support in the comments box. For those of you who are able, we would love for you to join us as a Reader's Circle member. A Reader's Circle member makes a pledge to support Women's Storybook Project annually for 3 years. If you are part of a company or foundation or in a position to give at the highest level, you can join us as a Pulitzer partner at $5,000 per year for 3 years. This level of support provides our program to one female prison unit for a full year. Our bestseller partner level is $2,500 yearly. Research has found that children with incarcerated mothers are more successful if they have some connection to their parent. A gift of $2,500 each year helps run 2 4-month cycles of Women's Storybook Project. A literary partner member at $1,000 yearly provides 4 children a book and recording from their moms each month for a year. A gift at this level, which averages about $83 a month, is our most popular level. Please know that every gift matters. Feel free to give a one-time or recurring donation online using the secure text-to-give link provided. If you have a question, please enter it in the chat or ask your table host. We are happy to help. If you would love to help but aren't able to join the Reader Circle, please consider making a one-time gift or a recurring donation at a level that's comfortable for you. We have a sustainable giving program called Story Starters. Story Starters agree to make a monthly payment of $5, $10, or $20, or really any amount that fits their budget. Believe me, as a nonprofit director, these monthly sustainable gifts are extremely important to our Storybook project and help us to budget and sustain progress throughout the year. Thank you in advance for your generosity.
Thank you again to all of you who are here as supporters, donors who know us, and thank you for those who are here for the first time to learn about us. I hope you like our program. Thank you for taking time of your day to be with us. So this seemed like a perfect time to perhaps start a new tradition, and that would be have a Founders Award. Someone who is important to our program. It didn't take me very long to realize who that would be for the first Founders Award. You would not be here. I would not be here if it weren't for them. And one of the people that will receive the first Founders Award is Ann Mooney. Ann Mooney is a social worker, was a social worker with TDCJ, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, when I started searching to start this program. She helped me design the program. She's a licensed clinical social worker with years of experience working with children and family services, victims of family violence, and perpetrators of sexual violence. As a psychotherapist, she believes that a generous portion of empathy and helping clients discover their strength is the key to dealing with domestic violence, poverty, parental incarceration, and mental illness. She has been active in developing several gender-specific programs, Storybook Project being one of them, and has received the TDCJ Governor's Award in recognition of all these programs. She has served as an affiliate faculty member for Baylor University, go Marty, providing clinical supervision for master-level interns. She was a frequent presenter and staff trainer for TDCJ. She has also presented for the Center of Missing and Exploited Children, Baylor University, the American Correctional Association, and the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And I want to read this to you, a favorite quote of hers from Ralph Emerson. to leave the world a little bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to have played and laughed with enthusiasm and sung with exaltation, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. I'd like to present to you Ann Mooney.
I just want to say thank you to Judith and thank you for everyone that's here today. The Storybook project is such a simple concept. Read a book to a child, a parent read a book to a child. But it was so challenging, so many obstacles to implement it within a system that doesn't understand, okay? They have all of those safety and security protocols in place for a purpose. And so it was kind of my task to help Judith learn how to maneuver through that huge criminal justice system and to help the criminal justice system understand that we weren't there to try to do anything unscrupulous. You know? I think books saved my life, like Maggie said, and one of my early positions was as a house parent at the Methodist Children's Home, and in that capacity I probably read hours and hours and hours to hundreds of children, and yet at that time I felt that I was in a holy place, a sacred place that wasn't mine. And so when the Storybook project came along and there was a way for me to be a part of helping parents and children who were separated link with each other, I knew that was, I wanted to hitch my wagon to that star, and Judith is a star, and the Storybook project is a star. Most programs that come into the prison only last 2 to 5 years before they just kind of dissolve. And for Judith to have been, the Women's Storybook Project to have been successful for 19 years is an amazing story in itself. So I'm very glad to have been behind the scenes trying to make that possible.
And then another person who we would not be here if it weren't for her, and that is Nancy Botkin, a retired warden. Nancy Botkin was the warden at the Hilltop unit, the first unit that we went to, and she was kind enough to take a risk and let us in. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So I would like to tell you a little bit about Nancy Botkin. She is a retired senior warden for TDCJ. She's a retired jail administrator of the Bell County, the first female jail administrator for Bell County. She's been on numerous boards and many honors, and I would run out of time if I kept reading the honors that she has received. But one that I think is very important, two of them, she was honored twice as an outstanding woman in Texas government. She also won the Best in Texas Award for the top criminal justice prison unit. And I would like to introduce to you Nancy Botkin, who trusted our program and let us into her prison.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Judith. Thank all of you. I'm so grateful for the time that I've gotten to spend with Storybook. It's a no-brainer. I have to tell you, though, we have never had a program within the prison system that we just kind of opened up the front door and allowed the program just to do what they needed to do. Judith is the reason for that. And I still don't think there's another program that has ever had the opportunities that they've had. Maggie, thank you so much for coming today. You told me things today that I had never thought of. So anyway, I'm going to cut it short, and I appreciate each and every one of you for coming today and for your support, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you all so very much for tuning in today and for giving Women's Storybook Project of Texas mothers and children the joy of connecting through literature. Through your gifts, you will open a window of hope for each family being served. Your investment provides opportunities for bonding, growth, healing, and care. I want to thank the sponsors, the Luncheon Committee, each table host, the Board of Directors, the volunteers, and the staff for creating this opportunity to learn more about WSP and to support their amazing mission. If you have not had a chance to make a pledge or give a gift, visit storybookproject.org. All funds raised go directly to supporting programming, books, recording equipment, and building connections between children and their mothers who are incarcerated. Also, why not get involved? Become a volunteer. To learn more, visit storybookproject.org. On behalf of everyone at Women's Storybook Project of Texas, thank you. We hope to see you again in 2023. What you did today will help mothers and their children to redirect their life story and change lives. You know what? I think I will toast to that. Have a great day, everybody.
If you haven't had a chance to give, now is the time. We'll post all the links again in the chat. All funds raised go directly to programs supporting hope, connection, and joy for families. If you'd like to be a prison volunteer, you can apply now. We'd love to have you. We also have volunteer opportunities for remote work and office work. You'll be excited to see how much your act of kindness makes a difference.